What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be looking at the Hardwired perk in Black Ops 3. A lot of people seem to think this is the most amazing perk ever, and a lot of people are really overlooking this perk, I find. So we're going to be breaking down exactly what it does today. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's just start it off with the description in-game of Hardwired. Hardwired makes you immune to counter UAVs, power core, EMP grenade, and smokescreen. Plus, it won't trigger trip mines, shock charges, or C4 alarm, and it reduces your digital imprint against enemy tracker and Sixth Sense perks. So just judging by the description, you can see this is a very robust perk. It covers a lot of things, and it helps counter a lot of things that the enemies could be using. Now, the description doesn't really say just how effective it is at countering tracker and Sixth Sense, so we're going to be looking at that today, as well as a bunch of the other things that Hardwired will do for you. So let's start off by looking at Sixth Sense and what Hardwired can do to help you with Sixth Sense. So just in case you don't know about Sixth Sense, if you look up at the top left corner where the minimap is, you'll actually see once the enemy gets close enough, he'll pop up as like a red indicator in the direction that he's coming from. So with Sixth Sense, you can look up in your minimap and you can see once somebody gets to this range that you can see right here without Hardwired, then they'll pop up on your minimap and their direction will also pop up, so you'll tell the general area they're coming from. Now let's compare that same test, but this time the enemy is using Hardwired, and let's see how close he can get before that Sixth Sense gets triggered. As you can see, he is basically within punching distance when he's actually triggered this. And this is pretty incredible. This is a great reduction, and I would say this definitely makes Hardwired worth it if you've got a lot of enemies using the Sixth Sense perk. So next up, I just wanted to quickly show off what happens if you run into a bunch of shock charges and a trip mine when you're not using Hardwired. Obviously you get killed. Now what happens when you are using Hardwired? You can run all over those things, you can slide on them, jump on them, nothing will happen, you'll never trigger one of those, which is great. Same thing goes for C4, I just thought I'd throw that in here because a lot of people haven't actually seen the C4 alarm, like if you haven't used the C4 you wouldn't have seen this. So when your enemy's not using Hardwired, when they get this close to the C4, they will actually set off a thing on your screen that'll say C4 alarm. Now, when they're not using Hardwired, they can run all over that C4 and they will never trigger that alarm, but you can still definitely kill them with the C4. So if you can see him on top of there, then you can just set the C4 off and it will still kill him. Next up, we have the smokescreen, and the smokescreen is actually a little bit different in this game compared to previous COD games. When you're within an enemy's smokescreen and you don't have Hardwired, your minimap actually gets smokescreened as well, and I think this is a really cool addition that just made smokescreens that much more viable when you compare it to like stuns or flashes. So I think it's a really cool addition, but like you can see up here, when you do not have Hardwired, your minimap gets all fogged up, you can't see anything. But when you do have Hardwired, nothing happens to your minimap whatsoever. It's completely clear as if there were no smokescreen. Obviously, you can't really see through the smokescreen itself any better, but it does save your minimap. And finally, let's have a look at the relationship between Hardwired and Tracker. So as you can see right here, this is what Tracker looks like when the enemy is not using Hardwired. So you can see their footsteps. Their footsteps actually stay on the screen for, it looks like about 5 to 6 seconds before they eventually fade away into nothing. And that means if they're full sprint, you can see them for quite a good distance with the Tracker perk on. Now, once they have Hardwired, the footsteps disappear much faster. It seems like they disappear in approximately 3 seconds. This isn't like super scientific testing by any means, but in approximately 3 seconds, so about half the time, the footsteps disappear. So when he's full sprint, you can only see like 10 or 15 feet behind him. You can't really see him across the map, or you can't see his footsteps when he's across the map. Alright, so that's everything I wanted to cover today for Hardwired. Obviously, I didn't counter like counter UAV or power core or the EMP grenade, because when you have Hardwired on, it's just exactly the same as if they didn't call those things in on you. So there's really no point in showing you that. I hope this video was helpful in shedding some light on the Hardwired perk, because a lot of people didn't realize just how much it countered that Tracker perk or that Sixth Sense perk, or exactly what Hardwired did. And I want to know what you guys think now. After seeing this video, do you think Hardwired is one of the best perks in the game, if not the best perk in the game? Personally, I do think it's a very robust perk, but one thing to consider with Hardwired is if your enemies are not using the things that Hardwired is meant to counter, it's completely useless. You're just basically wasting a spot on your class. So it's very dependent on what your enemies are using, and therefore I wouldn't consider it to be necessarily the best perk, but definitely the most robust perk, and I would recommend for everybody to at least have a Hardwired class handy in case they run into enemies that are really utilizing the things that you need Hardwired in order to counter. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.